arrogance of man is thinking nature is out of control, and not the other way around.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
Please, you can kill it.
Nobody trusts anybody now.
Come on, you hate. You want to live forever?
I got a really bad feeling about this.
Godzilla will live.
And welcome back to the 97th episode of the Monster Movie Stompdown. Of course, you got your host, Sludge, here. Co-host across from me.
Is Mark.
And we got the master from Texas.
Ruben.
And, man, we are creeping close to the 100th episode, and we've got some cool stuff planned for you guys. Of course, now for the 97th episode, we are hitting probably one of the biggest we've done Mothra, but this is probably the biggest fantasy monster film we've done. With a movie called Yamato Takeru that came out in July of 1994 before Space Godzilla. Pretty much all the same crew. But this one was a fun watch, so we're definitely going to jump into it. But, man, things have been a little crazy, as you might noticed. We have had to push this episode back for release. And, Mark, would you care to tell us what happened, why we had to push this back?
Well, I was actually finishing watching this movie, and a storm came up real quick and ripped the roof right off my apartment while I'm standing there. It was a little scary, but I survived it.
So you're like sitting there enjoying this film, and then all of a sudden, it's light out, rain's coming down.
Yeah.
It's like,
We have a problem here. So it was it scared me really good. So if I didn't have a white hair, the rest of them are white now. So
probably for good reasons. So. Yeah, so we had that to deal with. Mark was without a home for a couple of days.
Oh, well, I'm still without a home. I'm just borrowing one right now until I can find one.
Yeah.
Stompy was nice enough to let you stay at his pad, right?
Yeah, no,
His
he wasn't
bachelor
that
pad?
nice either. He wasn't that nice.
Yeah.
I don't see that kind of a nice bone in Stompy's body at all.
Yeah.
So we had that to deal with. I mean, and through the same storm, my wife's van got just trashed. Our big trampoline from the backyard flew all the way up our driveway, right into her van, then over her van, into the streets, and yeah, I got a little insane.
I told you not to besmirch, but you did it anyway.
Somehow that got tied into Whataburger real quick right there. I'm telling you, he knows. I meant to tell the wife too. Tell her it's like, hey,
I told you, don't talk bad about Whataburger. And what's next thing? There's a trampoline going through your windshield.
Oh yeah,
I'm just saying.
I will say the last thing I told him was that Sarah had was to tell him that how much she hated Whataburger when she had it, and that was the last time we had talked about it. And then the very next day, the van's trashed. So
I'm telling you.
But yeah, so it's been.
But onto a
interesting.
more happier note. Yeah, how was y'all's Christmas? How was y'all's Christmas and New Year's? We hadn't talked to our adoring fans since Christmas. Since
That's
the mean
true.
one.
We have not. So
Yeah.
Christmas and New Year's went fantastic. It was super busy for me. I went to 5 different places on Christmas. That includes
Wow.
church, of course. We had our candlelight service that morning. So with all the family stops and everything, it was a busy Christmas, but it was a good Christmas. I have no complaints. And New Year's is kind of chill at our house. You know what I mean? Like, we all kind of hang out and do our own thing because it's New Year's. Like, the next day we get up the same way. You know what I mean? But, like, we'll get together,
Yeah.
right before the ball drops. Do the ball drop together as a family and all that stuff. But we don't do the big, New Year's shindig or things like that. So, but ours went pretty good. Mark, what about yours?
Well, obviously, spent a little bit of it with you.
Yeah, true.
We have that traditional, or Haley's traditional. Instead of a big Christmas dinner, we have a big Christmas breakfast in the afternoon.
Yep.
Which is good.
That
Which is
sounds
really,
great.
really good. Oh yeah, it is.
that
It's
sounds
real good.
great. Yeah.
And so it was turned out good. Seemed like all the kids were happy with the presents they got, and everything was going good. New Year's, I do what I do on New Year's. I make pizzas.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Oh
So.
my god!
Oh,
You know what?
it's
Yeah,
always-
that's probably a real busy time for you.
Ruben, what about
Yeah.
yours?
Mine was pretty quiet. RJ didn't come for the first time. RJ didn't spend Christmas or New Year's with us. He's still on his honeymoon. He's still, you know,
Like today, still on his honeymoon?
yeah. Well, I mean, they went on their honeymoon. I'm sure today he was on his honeymoon, but no, he's back to work. But so it was just me and the wife, and with her family. So it's kind of quiet. But the reason I brought it up is I wanted to show off what my wife got me.
Oh, nice.
That's nice.
A vintage 1976 King Kong cup.
That's
So now
pretty
it's
sweet.
gotta get
That
this-
is nice.
I'm glad you said that
Yeah.
because we've got a lot of listeners that still listen and still watching. So yeah, that 1976
Yeah.
King Kong, that's pretty
So,
sweet.
Yeah.
so does,
Yeah,
does that
it's a
technically put you as Team Kong?
Team Kong is for what? Versus Godzilla?
Yeah. I
No,
don't
it
see a
does not.
Godzilla cup there, so that's why I was kind of asking.
Oh, there's plenty of Godzilla cups up here.
Okay, okay. Well, that's-
yeah. No,
we'll-
I'm
we'll
still
s-
King.
Uh-huh,
Look, I'm still
okay.
I'm still King Godzilla,
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
but I love my 76 Kong.
yeah.
And
Uh,
I also, but speaking of which, if you want to make it even,
There we
my
go.
son got
There
me
we
this.
go.
Yeah,
Like
he
it,
got me
like
this.
it.
Yeah, he got me this action figure. It's a 54 reaction Godzilla,
From
which
Super
I didn't
7.
even know existed.
Yeah, those are
Yeah,
sweet.
Super
That's
7.
that's on my want list
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Now me, and this is not even from family. Like new neighbors know how Team Godzilla I am. That they got me a custom made tumbler.
From 98? Is that where you?
No,
Oh,
you saw it.
there you
That's
go.
right, taking it.
Okay.
No, it's got 85 on it.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's got Godzilla versus Mothra 92, and then poster from and all posters from Godzilla vs. Destroya, and it's pretty
It is nice.
freaking sweet.
Yeah,
cup,
it is
man.
nice. I will give you that.
So I did get that for Christmas.
Well, they had to get him that, Mark, because he has all the 98 merchandise.
Good
you
point.
can
Good
have.
point.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I do
Yeah.
not. There's one figure
I
left
bel-
in the
I
collection.
believe one figure
I
that
saw
you
the
need
I
from
saw that
98
picture.
or what?
No, there's one figure period in the
Oh,
collection.
oh.
Like that's it. That's all I got.
That shelf
Oh, yeah.
from the picture that Mark took.
Yeah.
That
looked
was
like a
not.
whole lot
That's
That
more.
is
evidence.
not my shelf. I don't
That's
know whose
evidence.
shelf that was. That's your shelf. 'Cause that ain't my
Not
shelf. No, that is all yours, not
Hey,
mine.
I
look,
can honestly
look.
say I have no shelves right now.
Okay,
Oh, that's right.
That's
So-
true.
so-
Mark
Yeah.
has no shelves.
That's
so,
right.
That was his shelf is what I wanted to say. So, but no, yeah. So I'm glad we all had a good Christmas. We hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year's.
Definitely.
And man, to
Yeah.
kick off the New Year's, we're actually kicking it off with a new segment we have for you guys. So we've got two new things coming this year that we wanted to roll out with you, and we're going to give you the first one, and it is our new segment known as Hard Copy. All right, so for our first time on this segment of Hard Copy, what we want to tell you guys this is, of course, it's going to be a quick segment that we'll be doing and rotating between us, the three of us, is we want to show off an actual physical copy of a monster movie that we all own. It might be a Laserdisc, it might be a Blu-ray, it might be a DVD or a VHS, something for some reason that we think is super cool that we own a hard copy of, physical media of a certain film. And I couldn't think of a better way to do it. And thank the Lord for Pierce Barrelsheimer because he was awesome and patient with me. We had such a blast with the movie Crabs that I was like, you know what, for the first hard copy, we got to push him, one more big time and do the Blu-ray for Crabs because it was such a fun movie and help them roll that out. So
Yeah.
I waited patiently and I got my Blu-ray copy of Crabs. But what was super cool was that it came straight from Pierce. I didn't get it from Amazon, and it's actually autographed
Oh, yeah.
by the
Oh,
one and
yeah.
only Pierce Barrelsheimer. So, Pierce, thank you for that. Cool thing with this one.
Where me and Mark's copy?
Yeah.
Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
Wait.
Stompy
what is
said
that?
y'all didn't want one.
Well,
Is that right?
well. So why are you doing asking Stompy?
Hey,
there you
look,
go.
I don't know, man. Like, they said, nah, man, we don't want no copy of that. It's cool.
You know, I'm getting to the point where if you need to speak to that show over there, talk to Frank. It'll be all right.
Frank-
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, man. Frank called me in the last episode and was not happy with me whatsoever. So they're doing Harry and the Hendersons this month because he was he was he got a little feisty with me there for a minute. So yeah,
Oh,
maybe
boy.
maybe Frank is who runs the show over there. But anyways, so back to this, man. Blu-ray copy of this movie. One again, we cannot praise this movie enough. Do have to tell again, content warning. There is some brief nudity and sexual content in this, so not for the kiddos. And some language, but if you can bypass that, it is absolutely fantastic and one of the greatest love letters to the 80s monster
80s
horror movie genre
Yeah.
ever. I mean, it's just become a big favorite for us and so many other people. But with the Blu-ray, what was cool on this is that they packed it full of features. I mean, because you got deleted scenes, alternate scenes. There's behind-the-scenes features on here. You actually get a copy of the soundtrack with this, which is really cool. But then of course you got commentary from Pierce and stuff. But the thing I want to talk about the most important thing, because it's equally as good. Actually, it's even it makes it. Krabs is already you heard us. We love this movie. I didn't think there was a better way for this movie to get any better. I was wrong because they did a Radu audio commentary for the whole movie. So Radu came back and did a commentary track for the entire film, and it is absolutely glorious. It is one of the funniest things I have ever seen. It's the most unique commentary ever made. Like I've watched commentary. We've all watched commentary on every movie you can think of that we watch, and nothing tops Radu's. Like, hats off to these guys when it comes to that. Like I know for like we got the Plex. I will be putting a copy of this on the Plex, edited of course, for content. But I will have the regular movie, and then I will have the version with just Radu's commentary because it is hysterical. The wife came walking back, and she's like, "What are you laughing for? Like you were losing it." I was like, "Radu, man, he may be the greatest character of 2022, like without question." And his commentary is fantastic. Like it's.
Let me ask you guys: has there ever been a commentary made in character for another movie that you? I can't think of one. that
I
I've
can't
listened
think of
to.
one at all.
No,
That is
You
an
got anyone, Mark?
original,
no,
great
not at all.
idea. That is a great. It's genius. I've never seen, and I watch a lot of movies. I'd like to turn on the commentary, and I can't remember. I can't think of one of where an actual character came in and did it. There might be one out there that's a comedy or something, but that's genius. I love. When you told me that, I'm like, oh, I bet that thing is just hilarious.
If we had a copy,
Oh,
we would have
yeah,
already,
yeah.
but
Hey, look,
but
man.
we didn't get.
I've been busy. I ain't had a chance to
Yeah.
get it up on the Plex yet. And Stompy said y'all didn't want one. So,
Yeah.
but anyways,
He
so
tells lies.
for hard copy, man. If you can go pick you up a copy of Krabs on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Even if you've already seen the movie, go support Pierce and the crew for this because it's fantastic. But just Radu's commentary alone is worth it. Like, it's absolutely worth the price for the Blu-ray because it is fantastic. It's like watching the whole movie again in a completely different light, and you will laugh horrendously throughout. I mean, I was stomach in pain, tears, the whole 9 yards. It was fantastic.
I mean, when you first told me that, the first thing that came to mind, and it's weird because it's not even a horror movie. I thought having Radu do it is like Cheech and Chong doing commentary for Up in Smoke.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
like,
know,
that's exactly
yeah,
what it'd
oh
be
my
like in
goodness.
character
Yeah.
doing it, man. It was
in character. That's the first thing that came to mind. It would be like, man, watching that would be like watching, that. And I thought it was a great idea. So hats off to him again. I'm
Yep.
gonna say.
great job. Like, as far as we're again, hard copy is going to be us showing you guys some really cool physical copies of movies we've watched and monster movies. But man, like, it's going to be tough to top the Radu commentary. Like, that was fantastic. So again, Pierce, thank you for the copy of the Blu-ray. Everybody who can, go pick up a copy. Watch this movie. The movie's absolutely amazing, and the commentary is even 10 times better. So, all right, let's jump into the movie we were reviewing, and that, again, is the 1994 film Yamato Takeru, also known as Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon. Came out July 9th of 1994. Done by the same crew that did most, all the Heisei Godzilla films. And the director of Godzilla Space Godzilla, Takao Okawara, is who did this one. Produced by Tomiyuki Tanaka and Shogo Tomiyama. They were same crew, same special effects crew. Actually, the main actor in this film who plays Yamato Takeru, or Osu is the name. It was Masahiro Takashima, and he was in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. So, I mean, it's a familiar face, but this is definitely a fun fantasy film, very different than what we're used to from Toho, at least during the 90s era. So here it is. Check out the trailer for Yamato Takeru.
Cursed by the elder gods, banished to the icy depths of space, the ancient evil has returned. A child is born. A prophecy is fulfilled. And now, two legendary heroes must face their destiny. From the producers of the original Godzilla, a new landmark in horror is unleashed. An epic that will take you to the dawn of time and the end of creation. A world of miracles and impossible creatures. A battle in which only the strongest will survive. In a time when demons still walk the earth in human form. Only a hero chosen by the gods can deliver mankind from the ultimate darkness. A world of chivalry, beauty, and supreme evil. A new legend is born. A monster is set free. And the future of mankind hangs in the balance as the armies of good and evil wage holy war across the face of the earth. Orochi, the eight-headed dragon.
All right, and that's the trailer for Yamato Takeru, also known as Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon. Why is there so many names? We don't know. They just do. So this movie is based off of a Japanese legend of Yamato Takeru, and which is one of is a god warrior is who it is, and it starts out with the birth of two twins. Osu being one of them, and then his brother, who I can't even remember his name because he dies anyway, so who cares? But spoiler alert, of course, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But his father is the Emperor of Yamato, and you're given a brief little introduction beforehand that God, I cannot remember the character's name or what they call God in the movie to save my life, has three kids. He's got three other god children. You got Susanoo, who's kind of the god of the oceans and things like that, and Amaterasu, his daughter, who's the god of creation and life, light and stuff like this. Then he's got his son Tsukuyomi, who's the bad one, who's the bad god, and he actually tried to destroy Earth before by turning into Orochi, the eight-headed dragon, and Susanoo was able to stop him, and then he was banished in this big ice crystal thing and thrown out into space by his father. This movie, of course, is about the prophecy of Tsukuyomi returning to destroy the Earth, and it's up to Yamato Takeru to be born to stop him, who, of course, is Osu. And Osu is then put to test by who you don't find out till the end is Susanoo himself, to go on these three different missions in which he's going to gather the three lights, is what they call them. And once he has the three lights, he can then become Yamato Takeru and stop Tsukuyomi from destroying the Earth. Pretty simple plot. And then, you see him journeying across these three missions, and he meets, some other people that join up with him. The most important one being a girl named Oto, who is actually the physical embodiment of Amaterasu on this. So, of course, throughout each mission, they end up fighting little demigods, and you find out that he actually has the power of the Yamatos or of the gods in him. He's got this pendant, and he'll start to transform to be able to take control the situation and beat these other demigods that he fights. All climaxing up to the final fight with Tsukuyomi at the end, which is pretty epic because it's actually pretty long. They fight him in what would be like a human-looking form, him and Oto, and they can't stop him. And then, of course, at this point, he hasn't found the third light, but Oto starts to disappear. And then they realize that Oto is actually the embodiment of Amaterasu, and she is the third light. And so she ends up joining with him so that he can become Yamato Takeru, the god warrior itself, and take on Tsukuyomi in his 8-headed dragon Orochi form, his final form, and just proceeds to whoop the ever-living crap out of him. I mean, he goes from 8 heads to like 3 in all of about 30 seconds, real quick.
Yes, it does.
Of course, he does win, and Oto comes back, and Amaterasu lets her live with Osu because they do fall in love throughout the film. And very, very good movie. It's a remake of The Birth of Japan, a pseudo remake of that film, which was this story. Then, of course, you got another one, Three Treasures. Was based off of this legend too, but the movie didn't do too well in the box office, which kind of scared Toho a little bit because they had some plans, and I'm trying to think of the trivia here ahead of time. So they actually had some plans for this film. I will say originally it was going to be a trilogy. They were going to work on first before moving on to the next Godzilla film, and they were wanting to introduce, for like the third time in Toho history, which, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen the news, Bagan is finally showing up this year with Mothra in the theaters, which is freaking epic. So for those, side note, don't know who Bagan is, before Godzilla vs. Mothra in 92, there was going to be a Mothra film without Godzilla where Mothra was going to fight this legendary dragon named Bagan. Of course, they were afraid after the numbers of Godzilla King Ghidorah and Biollante that it wasn't going to pull enough numbers, so they took out Bagan, put Godzilla in with Mothra, figured to be box office hit. It was a smart move by them, but Bagan has slowly been made its way into other media. So if you've ever played the Super Nintendo game Super Godzilla, Bagan is the final boss, and that was the first time we got to see him in all of his glory, and in a media we can interact with and play against. And he's become a big cult favorite, even though he's never made his appearance on film. Actually, at Godzilla Day this past year in November, they had a full suit of Bagan on display, and it looked freaking glorious, And so they even were trying to think about bringing Bagan into one of the sequels for Yamato Takeru, because again, they were going to make this a trilogy of films. Obviously, with a box office bomb, they decided not to, and then it did lower the budget for Godzilla or Space Godzilla, which would come next. Even though, in my personal opinion, this is a far better movie. So let's jump into what we thought. Ruben, I think it's been a minute since you started. Let's get your opinion on Yamato Takeru, a.k.a. Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon, and then there's a third name floating around somewhere. I can't remember what it is. What do you think?
Well, the first thing is they should have called it Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon, because that was only a quarter of the movie, I would say. I don't know how you guys do it, but when I go into a movie, okay, this is the kind of movie I'm going to watch, and so that's the mindset, and I start watching the movie. And this one threw me off because I started watching it, and I have my notes here. I said, "Man, this is more like Clash of the Titans or Sinbad."
Yeah,
This is not the monster movie I was expecting. Then, of course, I start reading about it, and it's the mythology of Japan. I'm like, oh, this is a Sinbad. This is a Clash of the Titans, just the Japanese version of it. So once I got into that mindset, I enjoyed the movie a whole lot more. And I did see the Space Godzilla, Orochi showing up in a freaking ice palace type thing. I'm like, that's Space Godzilla right there in a nutshell. It looks like to me like Space Godzilla just put it on its back, Orochi on his back, and traveled to Earth. So, I mean, that's the vibe I got. And once I got into that mindset of, okay, I'm watching a Sinbad or a mythology movie, I enjoyed it a whole lot more. Because, you start concentrating on the actual mythology rather than looking for a monster or then it's a quest. Because the quest reminded me of Clash of the Titans, of course, and Sinbad. It just, that's the feel I got from it. And after reading about it, so I already enjoyed it once I knew what I was watching. Um, but it throws me off. It threw me off a little bit there in the beginning. In fact, I even sent you a message saying that there will be Orochi in this Orochi movie, right? Eventually,
yeah,
I saw
you did.
that.
Yeah.
you know,
That
you know,
text to me. I'm like, he'll show up. I promise.
it was Jeff Goldblum meme saying, "Hey, we will get dinosaurs in this dinosaur tour, aren't we?"
Right? Yeah.
So, but once you told me that, then I did a little research. I started, I was sitting there with my notebook, and then I started researching a movie. I'm like, oh, okay. So I enjoyed it. As far as the mythology movie goes, it's a pretty good movie. I wouldn't put it up there with Clash of the Titans or Sinbad. And I love Toho. And they get extra points just for being Toho. But all in all, I mean, it was an all right film. I thought it was a little. I think I don't know, seemed to drag a little bit for me, and it was a little bit predictable. But then again, I've watched all these mythology movies, and a lot of that stuff. I don't know if you got even Roman, Greek, they all kind of run together, and there's always a common thread there.
Yeah. It definitely is.
And I saw it, and I saw it here too. I saw a common thread, but it was enjoyable. I thought the dragon was just King Ghidorah with extra heads. But in researching, I found out that Orochi actually gets mentioned in GMK, and gets mentioned, and then of course there was a movie about him. So, and even the MonsterVerse. Apparently, he was in Outpost 91 in the MonsterVerse.
Yep.
Which I did not know that.
And now that you mentioned in GMK, it's not in I don't know. It's not in GMK. It's in.
Is it GMK? Did I write that?
Well, no. You're correct. But he even makes, not him, but the White Bird of the Heavens that you see in this film makes an appearance. Oh man, I can't think now. It's either in GMK in the book, or it's in Gamera 3. One of the two. It's it's a Kaneko film.
Yes, it's Gamera 3.
Is it Gamera 3? Okay.
He's in Gamera. Yes,
in
Gamera
the book,
3.
So you get to see a picture, and there's a depiction of the White Bird of the Heavens that we see in this film. Is in that one. So
and as far as Ghidorah, I mean that it is pretty much identical, just more heads. There's not too much difference between them
as far as design.
design.
Definitely. Which, I mean, obviously
design
we can't like credit Orochi to Ghidorah because Orochi's been around
for
centuries.
But I think it's either that's one of those situations where if you're in the monster movie business, maybe
you see it.
Do something else, create something else, not have two almost identical monsters, one just lacking 5 heads, compared to the other one.
Right.
But I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's almost identical.
Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Right. Right. What else, Ruben?
I mean, and other than that, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. It was a fun movie. I always gauge it like, would I sit and watch it again? And truthfully, I don't think I would. I would have to be in the mood. How does that sound? I'm not going to say I'd never sit and watch it again, but I'd have to be in the mood, and this thing will never show up on TV. But if I was like flipping channels and it showed up on, somewhere like Pluto TV or something, then I'd probably stop and watch it. So all in all, I thought it was on par for a high C. High C. I want to make sure to pronounce that right. I always get it wrong. High C era movie. I don't know if I'd say it's better than Space Godzilla. I know that's your least favorite Godzilla movie, and it's not my favorite either. Space Godzilla's not up there, but I would say it's equal to Space Godzilla. But I don't think it's any less. But then Space Godzilla's got Godzilla on it, so they're extra points. It's like Godzilla's a government employee and he's taking the post office test. So you get an extra 20 points.
Right. So, all right. Well, Mark, what about you? What did you think of this one?
I'm in pretty much agreement with Ruben. I thought it was a decent movie. I think the things that I had, the 8-headed monster not being so much of an original, but I thought the acting was pretty good. I'm a Clash of the Titans, Lord of the Rings, that style. I like that, and so I enjoyed that part of it. Excuse me. And I watched the English dubbed. I don't know what you watched, Ruben.
Oh, I did, but I regret it. I do regret it.
yes.
I will say, yeah, I had that note. Don't watch the English dub.
Yes.
Dude, like,
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, that's why you always watch them sub, man. I don't ever watch that dubbed crap.
Yeah, that was rough trying to watch it all the way through, and get enjoyment out of that, which I didn't. And
Yeah.
it ended up with a bang with my roof getting ripped off. But I mean,
Yeah.
overall, I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Yeah, I'd probably watch it again. I did enjoy it, but
Maybe that's the kaiju god saying, "Don't watch no English dubs, brother."
yeah, you may be right there. That could exactly what that meant. But I thought pretty much the plot was good. The acting was decent. Again, the English dub. No, don't do it.
Don't watch
do
that
it.
one.
And,
Well, I don't think anything, especially during the Heisei series era, you either got a Sony's dub or you got ADV, which would use the same dub anyways. And yeah, those were atrocious dubs.
Oh, yeah.
Atrocious.
yeah. The special effects, I thought they were pretty good. I thought they,
Yeah.
especially coming from Toho, I thought they did a pretty decent job at it. Pretty decent. So overall, I didn't go as high as you guys, but the English dub hurt a lot of that. So, but
Right.
overall,
Yeah.
I give it a thumbs up.
Man, I love this movie. Obviously way more than Godzilla or Space Godzilla. I mean, and I might even, for me, because I dig the fantasy films like you. I love Clash of the Titans. I don't love Lord of the Rings. I will admit that those bore the crap out of me. I love the Hobbit movies.
I was going to say Hobbit. You got to.
Love the Hobbit movies. Now the Ralph Bakshi, Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, they're still the best.
Oh,
I don't care what anybody says; those are way better than Peter Jackson's films.
Yeah.
But so I love the fantasy films, love the Sinbads, but I really dig Japanese fantasy as well. I love the lore, I love the vibe of the films. I'm a big fan of Three Treasures. Birth of Japan was good too. The Magic Serpent. Even going into branching into the fantasy yokai stuff that comes out. I really dig that. Of course, the yokai movies are a little bit darker, but I love that. So when I got my hands on this movie and watched it, man, I loved this movie. I thought it was fantastic. As for me, it's like there was a critic at AllMovie who had praised this movie and talked about a lot of movies that come out in later in the 90s or whatever that try to remake or capture that 60s fantasy film vibe. This one just kind of nailed it. Like they really, really did. For the most part across the board, I think they did a fantastic job. They had a really good cast in this, and did a great, great job as far as carrying the story and keeping it entertaining the whole time. And they went a little brutal at times, when Tsukunoma, the priest for Tsukuyomi, pretends, makes himself look like Osu's mom and tricks him, and he goes and picks her up and carries him, and then he takes that knife out and stabs him through the throat. I was like, whoa, that's brutal for Toho,
Yeah.
Excuse me. There was great monster action in this when you see him fighting all the other demigods. And, of course, the final fight I thought was handled extremely well when it's just him and Oto on the White Bird of the Heaven trying to fight Orochi. But then, when he finally turns into Yamato Takeru, I'm just like, whoa, like this looks awesome. Like a Mechagodzilla version of a samurai. Like it was super, super cool. There were some hiccups here and there, things would, if you really pay attention, like, he's got those bladed wings on the back of him, right? And when he first flies into Orochi and kind of goes hand to hand, they disappear. But then when he comes back out, kind of away from him, they're there again. I'm like, what happened there? You know what I mean? Like, but it's it's so fast paced on the action there that it's easy to miss that. So I mean, there's little things like that. But for me, the special effects were top notch. Story was great. Honestly, Masahiro Takashima, the guy who plays Osu, he was kind of a big boom in the Heisei era. He first hit the scene in '89 with Gunhead. And then, of course, he was in God from Mechagodzilla. He played Aoki in it, which his character annoyed the crap out of me. And even though I love Mechagodzilla, Aoki was very annoying. But he was great in Gunhead. And even though he was annoying, he was still really good in Mechagodzilla. But he was fantastic as Osu. I really loved him as Osu because you have those moments where, where Tsukunoma gets tricks his brother into fighting him, and then he ends up killing his brother, like kind of almost unbeknownstly, like when he releases his power. But so he goes from that like, why are we doing this, to like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm like, oh crap, I just killed my brother, and he carries that weight the whole movie to find out that it was really Tsukunoma the whole time who made all that happen, and then even when he had killed Osu's mom. So he does really good as far as where he has to go emotionally as a character. So much better in this than Gunhead or Mechagodzilla. So like this was the first time I saw him where I'm like, okay, you got a pretty wide range of acting skills here, which is really good because you're carrying this character extremely well. So I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was fantastic. Finding out later on down the road that they were going to do a trilogy of these films and ended up not really bummed me out because I would have liked to have seen it because it was something so different. We hadn't gotten a major fantasy film from Toho like this, and I wouldn't even, I mean, it's not even this far fantasy, but Mothra, was more fantasy than anything else back then, but like, hadn't really seen anything like this, and it was really, really cool to see. So I love the movie. Would I watch it again? Yeah, I've watched it I don't know how many times. Never dubbed, nor will I ever watch it dubbed now, especially after hearing what you said about it.
Do not do it.
But I mean, I watch this one kind of on the regular. Do I watch it like 2 or 3 times a year? No, but it definitely gets a watch at least once a year because I'll get in that mood where I'm like, man, I just want to watch Yamato Takeru again because it's just it's fun. It's a very fun fantasy film, and I think they did really, really good at capturing the spirit of movies like Three Treasures or The Magic Serpent. So for this one, I mean, it isn't super high ranked because there are definitely better films, better fantasy films. But for an outing from Toho, man, I thought this was fantastic. They did a great job. So I think it brings it to that time. It's Stompdown rating time. All right, so collectively, this one did pretty good. It got 3 out of 5 stomps collectively from us. Now, of course, Mark, you gave it the lowest, 2.5. Ruben, me and him both gave it a 3. I think this one is definitely, it's more than worth your time to watch at least once. I think this is one that will, even at the least, like Ruben was saying, may revisit every now and again, or all the way up to, like me and Mark were saying, I would totally watch this again. You know what I mean? This one's worth watching. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you definitely want to give it a shot. I mean, one time through,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, yep. Especially if you like, I would recommend like, if you like the Sinbad films and the Clash, anything with mythology in it, really.
Oh yeah.
Even Jason and the Argonauts.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that movie in a minute.
Yeah, man, Jason and the Argonauts, and then. This one is in that wheel. So and it's Toho. So I would definitely, I really got that vibe out of it. And that's what but then of course that's what hurt the movie for me is like, well, I've seen all these other great mythology type movies and this one had kind of got rated up against it. I didn't push it up against Space Godzilla, even though it had some Space Godzilla vibes in there. So yeah, I mean, I think if you enjoy those movies, I think you would.
This one.
Yeah,
sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're right because it came out after. So yeah, it's the other way. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, Space Godzilla got its, and it also now while I'm at it, it also reminded me how much Godzilla draws from those myths, those Japanese myths. A lot of the Godzilla films draw from that without even saying it. But now I said, man, you know what? I'm kind of surprised that you got a lot of this mythology that made its way into some of these Godzilla movies. So that's all great. So, I mean, like I said, did I give it a 4 or 5? No, but that doesn't mean it's not worth watching. I think it is.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a good movie. So, check it out if you get a chance to. It is, you're not going to find it on regular rotation TV. You might find it on, Tokusatsu TV one time or two, or pick it up on Amazon Prime or something like that. But it's definitely worth
it shows up on that I forget what it's called, but it's on the internet. It's an internet based channel because I remember we said we're going to watch that movie and it showed up on that channel.
Like maybe Shout Factory or one of those.
No, it's not Daiku, I think.
Yeah. Daiku TV.
Daiku.
You can see them on Facebook.
TV.
and they do they
Exactly.
do play this one pretty regularly. So
Yeah,
all
they
right,
do.
well, it is time for the next section of the show, and boy, if I got a hard movie to tell you that I had to
Oh, yeah.
watch. So
Oh, yeah.
let's get to it. It's time to test your might.
Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might.
All right, so I faced the penalty last time. Even
Ruben laid it on you this
he
time.
laid it
didn't he?
on so hard on this one. It was actually Roger Corman's first, man, Creature from Haunted Sea, and it's a fun movie, man. Like it is an amalgam of just craziness. Like you got like a spy espionage movie mixed with like what's the movie I'm thinking of with Mark Wahlberg and The Rock, where they got that they're trying to run a scam, a con in Florida and
Yes.
Miami. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So, anyways, one of those criminal con scam movies mixed with a monster. Like, it's really kind of odd. Like, just the whole movie is very interesting. And the monster looks absolutely terrible, but I love it because its eyes like bulge out of its head. And when you're watching it in the movie, because there's a lot of underwater sequences, because they got this money and stuff that's in these cases underwater, the shipwreck, and to keep people from going to it, they come up with this legend of this monster, right, that's down there, but unbeknownst to them, it's actually real and starts killing people. And so there's a lot of underwater sequences in it, which were clearly done in like a very shallow pool. But it's like the suit, like they didn't use two suits. And as you continue to watch the movie, like you can tell they shot scenes in different order, because there's a couple times where you're looking at it, you're like, it looks like that suit's totally deteriorating. Like it could not hold up to the water at this point. But it's just a fun watch, and being a huge Roger Corman fan, going back to one of his earliest movies ever, it's kind of cool, for me. So I enjoy it. Do I recommend it for all of our viewers? No, no, y'all would hate me. Y'all be like, Sludge, this is terrible. But for me, it's a fun watch. And ironically, I literally watched it like 3 days before the last episode, but I went back and watched it again. Like, to me, it's just a fun little hoot of a spy crime monster movie. And if you're into this stuff like me and Pete like to watch, from Give Me Back or Good Beer Bad Movie Night and Give Me Back My Horror Movies,
and that's the problem. That's the problem right there. How can you penalize somebody who likes to watch the penalty movies for fun? I mean, I just don't understand.
Man, you never know, man. Like, if you don't give. And I've always been like this. I've been like this, man, and Mark can attest for it since I was a kid. It's all about the heart of the movie. You could have a $200 budget, and the worst thing ever, it could be put on screen. But
Like
if
Texas
you put
Chainsaw.
heart behind it, yeah, I mean, well,
Like
Texas
Texas
Chainsaw is
Chainsaw
definitely,
Massacre,
is, that's a great example actually. But when it comes to a lot of these movies, man, like like Notzilla, like clearly the lowest budget ever. But man, that movie had so much heart, and that's the way I am with anything. So I'll watch any movie, especially monster movies, and give it at least a shot.
Any movie?
No, not any movie. Let me restate that. Okay, rephrase that. There are three films.
Mark caught a hold of that one.
3 films.
Yeah, Mark got a hold of that one.
No, they are on the no watch list. But I'll give everything a chance. Especially in the mid '90s. Man, how many of those movies was I coming home from direct to video like? That's How We Found Rumpelstiltskin, Pinocchio's Revenge, what was it, Carnosaur? That's How We Found Carnosaur. All these low budget monster movies, and you end up, you'll watch 50 of them and might have 10 diamonds in the rough. 10 gold winners, but it's fun going through those 50 to find those 10. So Creature from Haunted Sea was definitely one of those. I thought that was pretty cool. But all right, so let's go through it and see who gets to win and lose this time. Of course, we got to thank our awesome brother Charlie for the trivia.
Does he get a shout out for a birthday? Did I see somebody?
That's
he had
right.
a
His
birthday.
birthday is coming
yes.
up, or by the time you watch this, it may have been his birthday. But
It
yes,
already-
it's his
yeah.
birthday this month.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, so they did Masters of the Universe for his birthday episode. Fantastic movie.
And-
Go listen to that one.
Have you noticed? Is he getting a little bit more gray in his beard? I think it's the last time I saw him, he looked like getting to be like you.
I'm gonna tread on this ice
Okay.
carefully because he does our trivia, and it's already been rough.
Yeah.
No, man, he's looking like a stud, dude. Ain't no gray in that hair nowhere, Charlie.
Okay, I was just asking.
So
I'm just curious.
we're still trying to figure out who the mole is over here. But, so
Yeah.
yeah, but definitely thanks, Charlie, for the trivia, because I know sometimes we give him movies and he's come back and told us, like, dude, there's nothing, like the mean one. He's like, there was nothing for me to be able to find for trivia on you for this one, but he does a dang good job, and so we thank him for it. And go check out their shows, of course. Give me back my action movies. Give me back my horror movies.
Got any tissue?
You
Gotta
know what?
clean your nose off. It's
What are
awfully
you talking
brown.
about? No,
It
I'm
is
just,
awfully brown.
Oh.
just
yeah.
Awfully brown, yeah.
Yeah, brown nose and big
man.
time.
See, Charlie. See,
Yeah.
this is what I deal with over here. So let's jump into it, man. Let's do the trivia for Orochi or Yamato Takeru, whatever you want to call it. Number one. Dang it. See, this one I got to be careful. I'll give you all these answers. What kaiju was considered for the unproduced Orochi sequel? A, began. Ooh. This is tricky. B, Godzilla, or C, Mothra? Oh, this is so tricky. Because there's more than one right answer here, boys.
Oh,
Yes,
And-
I think
you-
I know what you're.
and you're gonna blame that on
I'm-
Charlie when this thing goes up.
Well,
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
gonna-
hey.
Yeah.
It's gonna go south on him, and he's gonna blame Charlie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
No, but there's, and I'll prove it, but there is more than one right answer here. Man, I'm putting, I'm
make-
putting
Oh,
both.
read the question.
No, you cannot put both down there.
Okay, I'll put one. 'Cause
Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna put the one I think he's referencing. Let me say that. Question again was, what kaiju was considered for the unproduced Orochi sequel? A, began, B, Godzilla, or C, Mothra?
Is this? Repeat that again.
What kaiju was considered
for the sequel. For the
unproduced
sequel.
sequel? This was going to be a trilogy of films. Remember we were talking about
Right,
earlier?
right. Are we on question one or
Question
two?
one. Question one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's what threw
Yeah.
me off. I thought
So-
you just said that.
Began,
go ahead.
Godzilla, or Mothra?
Okay.
You good, Ruben?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I have
He's-
got my little notes here.
Yeah, he's looking at the cheat sheet over
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those cheat sheets for me and Mark, but Ruben's
right.
got them. So, number two. In a
There's
film
one.
cutscene, what body part did Ukusugami tear off of Orochi? A, the head, B, the leg, or C, the tail? In a film cutscene, what body part did Ukusugami tear off Orochi, which is Yamato Takeru, the God Warrior?
Yeah.
A, the head, B, the leg, or C, the tail?
I don't know.
All right.
I'm
give it a
gonna
shot.
use the mythology. If you read about the mythology, I'm taking a guess on this one, an educated guess.
All right. So, third question is actually two. So, third and three and four, we got two for true and false questions. First one. Orochi is referenced in the MonsterVerse Godzilla King of the Monsters. True or false?
Oh, dang it! I
Ruben's
gave
giving
one
the
away.
answer. Orochi is referenced in the MonsterVerse Godzilla King of the Monsters. True or false?
I kept my big mouth shut. There you-
All right. Well, okay. Last question. King Ghidorah was known in ancient times as Yamato no Orochi. True or false? What? King Ghidorah was known in ancient times as Yamato. No, hey, actually.
All
right.
I know this.
Yeah.
I only had to guess on
Yeah.
one of them.
So-
I only had to guess on one.
All right. We good? We ready for the answers here?
Let's do it.
Let me
Yeah.
pull them up. Number one, what kaiju was considered for the unproduced Orochi sequel? And it was Began.
A.
We will fight on that one now.
Here it goes.
Charlie. 2. In a film cutscene, what body part did Ukusugami tear off Orochi? It is the tail. There are still some cutscenes left in that show that tail missing at the end. Hold on a minute. He put A. I thought that was C.
It is.
It was
C.
C.
It is C.
It's
Is it
C.
C?
You,
Okay,
you told
okay.
me C tail. Yeah.
Yeah.
C tail. Okay,
Yeah.
so we all got that one right.
No, we didn't.
Oh, well.
But I
you
remembered it
missed
was
out?
C.
Okay, so tail was C.
Okay.
All right, true or false? Orochi is referenced in Monster vs. Godzilla King of the Monsters. True.
She.
Shown on the computer screen at Outpost 91. at Mount Fuji, Japan. Last one, number 4. King Ghidorah was known in ancient times as Yamato no Orochi. True.
I did not know that, so
According
I guess.
to Mitsuaki Takeda,
GMK.
yep, in GMK, he fought
GMK
Godzilla in an
mentioned it.
underdeveloped form, sporting only 3 heads out of 8. So that is true.
So Ghidorah is the baby. Is
Version.
the Kong Jr. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Kong Jr. of
Because remember they call him the 1,000-year dragon?
Well, I
Yeah.
reckon I'm watching the movie. I missed 2.
How many did you miss, Ruben?
None. I got a 100.
You got a 100.
GPA for. Yeah. Because I guess that one about the tail, because in the mythology, they stab him in the tail. So I said, well, I'm going to guess on that one, and I was right.
Okay.
And it was a cut scene. Pun intended.
Pun intended. All right. Here we go. From Gojopedia.com, or Godzilla Fandom, Gojopedia. Originally, this was planned to be a series where appearances of Bagan in the second film and Godzilla in the third film were planned.
What was the question again?
It
The
was
question
the
was
sequel.
what kaiju
Sequel.
was considered for the unproduced sequel?
The sequel would be
Not
number
the third,
2.
Not the third movie.
That's the
Yeah,
third.
that was-
No,
Yeah,
but see,
yeah.
this was a trilogy of films, and he said Bagan and Godzilla. But I'll
But
take
the
it. But
sequel is.
Yes.
So
Okay,
you're telling
okay.
me
Sequel
Jaws
is
2
number
is the
2.
sequel to Jaws 1.
I'm
Jaws
just saying
3 is the
there's-
sequel to Jaws 2. Yeah.
Jaws 3 is still a sequel to Jaws 1. It's a sequel. Doesn't matter how you run into.
Now, but you
Now,
weren't
we
confident
talk about
enough
Friday the
to. You
13th.
weren't confident enough to answer it.
Well, what's going to
No,
happen
I
here?
did. But I thought he was
Yeah.
going to go with Godzilla
No.
because I thought my thought process was he's going to pick one I'm not going to talk about because I tend to give the answers away. And I know once I saw Began, I'm like, dang it. Mary says, like, I gave you all that one, you know what I mean? Because we talked about it. I'm like, trying to be like Ruben. Think Charlie.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do was think
Thank
Charlie.
Charlie.
And
Hey,
I
Charlie,
thought wrong.
Charlie, just to let you know, you hear it now, but boy, when the tape stops, you should really hear how
whatever.
Sludge goes
Whatever.
on.
I do
know
not
you-
go off.
Oh,
on
yeah.
that.
It's yeah.
Not happening. So.
He makes Stompy look weak.
All right, so
Oh,
whatever. Well, I do for a lot of things, but not this. All right, so Ruben got all on that one. I did miss the
First one.
first one because I thought he would go with Godzilla, even though Godzilla is a correct answer.
Oh, you went with
Whatever.
Godzilla. Oh, I thought you went with. I thought
Whatever.
you went with Vigan. You went with Godzilla. Okay,
I
I'm
did.
sorry.
I did.
I
Well, I was originally going to
apologize.
pick Began, but I was like, man, these guys didn't even hear about Began until I talked about it. I'm trying to think like Charlie would think, and I figured, because I give a lot of those away sometimes. I'm like, I didn't bring up Godzilla, and I bet he thinks I would have. So I was like, I bet he'll go with Godzilla because it was the more obscure of the two, because both of them were supposed to be in the sequels to this movie. So
But then I would have objected and say, "Hey, now wait a minute. Before Godzilla, there was going to be Vigan."
well, that's why I said
And I
there's
would've
two
said-
answers. There's two right answers there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's two correct
Yeah.
ones. But I'll take the mark on that one. Even though you're welcome, Ruben. I gave you that, but
Yeah.
it's okay. So
No,
all right,
you-
Ruben got all 4, so Ruben gets to pick what me and Mark watch.
I got some help on this one. Some
Uh-
people volunteered some movies. to me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Have you talked to
Oh.
Pete?
Who's Pete?
Oh,
I have no
yes,
idea who you're
yes,
talking
yes.
about.
Here it comes.
Yeah,
Here
yeah,
it comes.
yeah. And we know Mark.
Here it comes.
Mark loves the Pete films.
And I got a whole suggestions, but then I saw this one, and I said, this is the one I'm doing because this punishes Mark, and it kind of, even though I would enjoy it, and you might have to go look for it. So if this doesn't work out, let me know, and then we'll just change them. I'll change the movie for you.
What do we got?
You're watching Santos and the Treasure of Dracula.
Santos and the Treasure of Dracula.
Dracula.
Let me write
It's a
that one
luchador
down.
movie. Yeah.
The Treasure of Dracula. So we're watching a luchador film.
You're watching a luchador film.
All right, I'm down.
Well, if he's down, it's.
Mark, what do you think about that one? A luchador, old school Rey Mysterio.
Now,
fighting
let
on-
me know.
on
Yeah,
those.
there you go. Rey Mysterio, or Mil Máscaras type of mil. So,
Now, what's it called?
It's called Santos and the Treasure of Dracula.
Okay.
I'll
Not,
have it as in
not Santos and Dracula's Treasure.
Could that be it? Let's
Well,
ask
maybe that's what
the Master of Texas.
It could be. I mean, I have it written down.
1969 film.
Dracula.
Not 19. Mark says 1969.
I'm bringing it up right now just to make sure.
We are looking here. Santos.
Boy, oh boy.
This one we'll have to find. And
Yeah.
Santos
go
and
with that
Dracula's
one.
Treasure. Yeah, 1969. Santos and
Dracula's
Dracula.
Treasure, 1960.
And
Right there.
an alternate
That's
title
what I
is
have.
coming up showing Santos and Santos. Whatever. Yep, that's it. I'm not. No.
Well, here's
I'm
here's
wrong.
one title.
Now if there's not one with an English dub or something, let me know and I'll be happy to change it for you guys. You want an alternate just in case?
Well, you can pull up the other title that says "The Treasure of Dracula," the sexy vampire version.
Oh well, we got to
you
find the
can
sexy
go with that.
vampire version,
Well,
right?
the reason I say that is because it's first time in English. So just to let you know that.
So they called it the sexy vampire version because it was translated into
Oh
English.
my
That
goodness.
is exactly what they say.
That's not racist at all. I'm sorry. I'm not. That is like wow. That's awesome. We'll keep our opinions on that stuff out. But what?
And it has been
Really?
restored in 4K.
Is
Yeah.
that right? See, that's how good it is. Now I don't know how they filmed that in 4K.
Yeah, got me.
But there it is. You're right. At Amazon.com. Look at that.
The Treasure of Dracula,
Oh,
the sexy vampire version.
Oh, God.
That's fantastic. That's the one I'm gonna get for us. Is the
And
sexy
he goes back
vampire
in,
version?
yeah. And it's the one because it says a time machine. Yep, this matches up. This is. I just gotta click on it. It's on Amazon. I know I'm not gonna see it. I gotta click on it. My Lord. As Buford T. Justice once said, "What is the world coming to?"
This is
There it is.
yeah okay. Well, that is what we'll be watching. That should be interesting. I can't wait to
Yeah.
hear Mark's
Oh, yeah.
on this one.
Hey, why me?
So it says it was
Yeah.
released in European markets and finally released in Mexico in 2012 as El Vampiro y el Saxo. So I don't know. Maybe
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know.
All I know is there's a luchador in it, and I don't think this was from Pete. I think this is one I dug up. Pete, if you did give me this one, I apologize because I was digging, and then he sent me some suggestions. Let me see here. Actually,
Okay.
so I can give credit where credit is due. I don't want.
So this is a movie about a Mexican wrestler, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
what I
Oh
was-
yeah, dude,
yeah.
El Santo. Like,
wrestler.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah. I've seen a few of these Santo and other luchador films, and yeah, they're a hoot, dude. They're an absolute blast. Well,
Yeah.
my favorite character in oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the name now. It was the book series by Del Toro and Chuck Hogan. They did a show, 3 seasons of it. Dang it, I'm drawing a blank. It was a vampire show. Man,
I'm sorry. Say that again.
So there was a book series by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan, and it got turned into a TV series. Came on FX. It was 3 seasons. It was about this vampire, and like he's. It was very interesting. Like the vampire is actually like a worm type deal. God, what was the name of that show?
Oh.
I can't remember. I have to bring it up. Talk about when we talk about this in the next episode.
That's-
But one of the main characters in the book
Is
in the
it
show-
Dracula and is it Dracula and the sexy worm?
maybe, yeah. But my favorite character in that in the book and in the show was a former luchador, and they show scenes of his past where he was in these luchador films fighting Dracula and things like that. And I loved him. Like, oh, that was so cool. It was kind of like a throwback to these movies. So I'll have to look that up, the name of the show in the book. I don't know why it spaced me. So, all right. Well, there we go. That is it for our 97th episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Now we're creeping close up on episode 100. So this month, again, of course, we're going to have episodes back-to-back for you, but we will be doing 8-Legged Freaks. So that one should be an absolute blast. That one is so much fun. And then next month, we will finally, we realize we haven't done this yet, but we'll be finally hitting Pacific Rim for the first time, which will be really, really fun. I can't wait to dig into that one.
That's the lead up to number 100.
That's
Next one after that.
That's right. And
The
so
biggie.
we have picked something super cool for you guys for episode 100. Now, of course, make sure you pay attention to the Friday Night Fights because we have been having a battle royale internally between all the crew here at the Monster Movie Stompdown. Of course, the three of us and Stompy and Frank. And the winner of next Friday or this upcoming Friday, his bout will be, of course, the three of us. So we beat Stompy and Frank, the three of us, and whoever you all choose as the winner of that match will get to choose something special to happen on our 100th episode.
Okay, so we're looking at the next match is the three of us.
The next match is the three of us.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I kind of have an idea of who that winner's going to be, and that will make this
Mark,
painstaking.
might as well just.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, he's already
Something
talking.
is smelling a little fishy to me.
Oh, no.
something
I believe, just because of the feedback I get from our listeners, that me and Ruben will fall short of the one who speaks of the trees, or speaks for the trees. So I think Mark will come out on top on this one, in all honesty.
Good job, guys.
So,
Good job. That's right.
They like you the most.
There
is
we
what
go.
It was. So me and
He's the
Ruben
most
are
likable of us.
fodder
three.
compared to the Lorax. So, yeah, so it's all for the 100th episode, and we're doing a super cool movie for you guys because it just came out, has been lost for decades. We are going to do one of the holy grails, and that is going to be Space Monster Wong Magui, which I just got my VHS and Blu-ray copy from the awesome dudes at SRS Cinema. So thank you, Ronald Bach, and thank you, Avery Guerrera, for helping make this happen. I've already watched it, and man, this one's going to be a hoot of a film to watch for the review. So super stoked. So our 100th episode, we're going to have a special surprise. We don't know what it is. I told the guys, whoever wins the next bout, you can choose whatever it is, whether it's a penalty movie, you pick a movie that comes, that we have to watch, change the movie in the middle of the episode, whatever you can think of has to happen on the 100th episode. They get to decide what happens. Sludge wears something absolutely crazy. Mark has to admit that RoboCop's one of the greatest movies ever.
Oh, I got to win now. I so have
Ruben
to win.
Ruben has to admit that In-N-Out's better than Whataburger. Could be, whatever it is. The winner gets to choose. So that's going to be super, super fun. And they're going to do Space Monster Wong Magui, the lost monster film from South Korea, or North Korea. South Korea, sorry. So super stoked for it. Going to be awesome. So stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. And, of course, this is your host, Sludge. Co-host across from me
Is Mark.
and the master from Texas.
You got Ruben.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Night, y'all.